It was the most hotly anticipated event of Paris Fashion Week, the last ever ready-to-wear show from Jean Paul Gaultier. On the stage of the famous Grand Rex Cinema, actress Rossy de Palma indulges her inner burlesque. Since 1976, Jean Paul Gaultier has been a byword for humour and provocation, but he does a lot more than simply making women beautiful. Like Coco Chanel and Yves Saint Laurent before him, his influence extends far beyond the fashion world.
He represents everything I love, by which I mean he has a wonderful way of working with opposites, mixing things that seem so contradictory. That's really what Jean Paul is. That complete irreverence, irony, humor, but at the same time classicism, rigor and wonderful craftsmanship.
A genius, truly exceptional artist. That's it, he really is an exceptional artist.
I don't just love him as a designer, but also as a man. He has never, not once, missed a single Sid Action charity event. He's always stood with us in the fight against AIDS, and I respect him enormously, as a designer, but also as a person.
Jean Paul Gaultier, with his trademark humility and humour, has always described himself as a sponge. With his finger firmly on the pulse, he absorbs and reworks pop culture into unusual, sexy and sensual creations.
It's a shame, a real shame that today we've come here to see Jean Paul Gaultier's last ever show.
So this marks a point of transition for the fashion world?
Yes, it's very significant. It's almost as if it's a moment that really marks the fact that fashion is changing, really quite radically.
Innovation has always been key. For this last ever ready-to-wear collection, Jean Paul Gaultier was inspired by beauty pageants. And kicking off proceedings, Miss Weather.
Why this pageant-style show? Well, firstly, I always watch those sort of Miss World competitions. And I recently watched a film with Catherine Deneuve called On My Way, where she played Miss Bretagne. So immediately I thought, yes, I'll do a pageant-themed show.
Throwing the rulebook out the window, the designer combines a range of materials and styles. Adored by fashion editors worldwide, Jean Paul Gaultier uses the opportunity to show his gratitude in the way he knows best.
The editors are extremely important. We respect, admire them. They are elegant. They actually represent elegance. And they represent France or England or the US, it depends. You can see who I've chosen. There are of course others, but I had to choose my favourites. They all have something in common, right?
First up, Grace Coddington, creative director at American Vogue. And former head of French Vogue, Karine Roitfeld.
What an homage. Thank you, Jean Paul. It was so beautifully done. And he did me well, I think. It was joyful, a really joyful goodbye.
Next up, French Vogue's editor-in-chief Emmanuel Alt, Babat Jan from Numero magazine, Italian Vogue's Franca Sozzani, and the queen of fashion journalism, Suzy Menkes.
We mustn't forget that he's done a lot for fashion, but also for society in a broader sense. He was pretty much the first designer to use an ethnically diverse range of models. He was the first to so publicly embrace homosexuality. He's done so much, things that go beyond fashion, things that have changed society in very real ways, and that's extremely important.
Spanish group Puig, expert in the lucrative perfume and cosmetics industry, is the majority shareholder of the Gaultier fashion house. If collections aren't making the money they should, they are quite simply axed.
La mode, c'est un commerce.
Fashion is about business, and Jean Paul deciding to stop producing ready-to-wear must have been very difficult. But it's certainly a well-considered decision. And maybe that's a price he and his partners have to pay so that the Jean Paul Gaultier brand lives on. And it will live on, with the haute couture that he does so exquisitely, and with the Jean Paul Gaultier perfumes that everyone can buy.
Jean Paul Gaultier, now freed from the obligation to produce more than 6 collections a year, will now enjoy more creative freedom. He has no regrets.
There's no sadness, only joy. How could I be sad with all the experiences I've had, All those wonderful times, the happiness that doing ready-to-wear has brought me. There's no reason at all for me to be sad. I still got a lot of things going on. Things in the pipeline, the couture collections, working on various upcoming projects. Sorry, give me 3 seconds, I need to kiss someone goodbye.
That someone is Yves Horner, the internationally renowned French accordionist. At once mainstream and subversive, the designer has an eclectic fan base.
And for the first time in my 38-year-long career, I have the clothes ready a week in advance. It's usually the night before. It's incredible. The day I decide to stop, boom, it all comes together so easily. It's actually very funny. It's almost like a sign saying, carry on.
A characteristically tongue-in-cheek homage to the industry that loves him. Joining the likes of Christian Dior and Yves Saint Laurent, Jean Paul Gaultier's pageant-themed show has cemented his place in fashion history.